day to you. This is Dara. I'm a gender therapist in Colorado, United States of America, and today I'm going to answer a question that I've heard asked by a lot of people, and that is, how do I get hormones? So, I'm sure as you probably can guess, this is not an easy answer to give in a short video because the answer at this point in time is going to be different for pretty much anybody watching this. Depends on what state you live in, depends on what country, depends on what part of the world you live in. So let me just put out there first and foremost that that's frustrating. And believe you me, I agree that if you feel frustrated in this process of trying to figure out how to get hormones, I don't blame you. Yes, there is progress that's being made when it comes to streamlining the process and making sure that all physicians and therapists are aware of what the actual process is for doing this, but we still have a long way to go for that. So there's going to be some of you who are going to be able to get hormones pretty easy, and for some of you, it's going to be almost nearly impossible. So I didn't want to get your hopes up too much with great promises of how you can definitely get hormones. What you're going to have to do is, let me give you a little bit of advice about what to do. The first thing that I think you should do if you are wanting to look into starting hormone replacement therapy to help with your transition is you need to find a person who is either in the state that you live in, or if you're in, such as in the United States, if you live in other parts of the world, you need to figure out one person in your province, even in your country for some of you, who would have information that is accurate and up to date and useful for you. So the reason I say that is that I get a lot of clients in my office and they say to me that they've been looking all over the internet and they cannot figure out how to be able to start HRT. So I tell them I'm glad they found me because I'm able to let them know how they can start hormones in Colorado. So again, this is one of those examples of if you're watching this and you're in Colorado, you're in luck because all you have to do is, and even if you don't want to come see me for counseling, you can just contact me, and I can either communicate with you through email or text and give you the information about how to be able to start HRT. For one, I would reassure you that you do not have to come in to see me for therapy and get a letter from me for HRT based on what I'm going to advise you, because I am then going to tell you that there is a doctor in Colorado who uses the informed consent model who you can go see and be able to start hormone therapy pretty much after you visit him and make sure that you are checked out health-wise and then you understand what HRT means and what's going to happen. You agree to it and then you can get your prescription filled for HRT. There's another friendly physician in Colorado who she also does not require HRT letters anymore. So I could also give you her information. She also can be your primary care physician, whereas the other physician can't. So basically, I'm giving you a sample of what would be like if you were able to find somebody who is knowledgeable in the area in which you live who can give you that kind of information. And so the other important thing is that this person would need to be aware of what the most updated standards of care say, which again say that you do not have to acquire an HRT letter of support from a gender therapist. Now, here's the thing I do have to mention, of course, is that if you're going to end up using your insurance to pay for HRT, it is possible your insurance will ask for a letter from a therapist. So that might be true, and I have had clients come to me who said they're actually going to use their insurance to be able to cover HRT, including Medicaid. I did need to write a letter for them, and basically I met with them anywhere between 1 to 3 sessions just so I can get enough information to write the letter. It's not any kind of requirement. I only need to see them for as long as I feel like is necessary for me to get everything I need from them to know that to put into the letter that they would then give to a physician to be able to start HRT. So, like I said, that's going to be easier for some of you than others. Some of you might live in an area in which you go on to Google and you do a web search for either gender therapists, you can search for LGBT centers, you can search for transgender or gender identity centers. Again, we're lucky in Colorado. We actually have a big LGBT center in Denver. We have a gender identity center in Denver, and lots of gender therapists in Colorado. And now we have quite a few physicians who are willing to work with people. So that's going to be on the upside of things for those of you who live in a state in which you can find those kind of people to help you figure out your answers. So like I said, even if you could just find one person who has those right answers, then you're on the right track, because then that person can split off and give you this person's name and this person's name and this information. So again, just because it'll be different for everybody, do a search on the internet for gender therapists, LGBT centers, gender identity centers, anything you can think of that would get you closer to finding this kind of person. For those of you in other countries, unfortunately, there's going to be a wide range of success and not success in figuring this out. But again, take the same steps to be able to see if you can find anybody in your area. You can also look for forums. You can go on social media and ask people if they know of anybody. My hope is that at some point there's going to be this amazing hub on the internet where it's going to be so easy. It'll be maybe one website you go to and it has all that information on it, and it's going to be awesome. But we're still, like I said, a little ways away from that happening. So in the meantime, you have to kind of seek out this information for yourself. Of course, I'm sure some of you, especially if it's going to be really difficult to get hormones, you're wondering about how can you then self-medicate. More than likely either getting hormones from your friends or going on the internet. Professionally, I am not able to endorse that. And so I happened to see on YouTube, there's definitely some videos of people advising about how to do that. The only thing I will say is if you decide to take that route because you have to, please, please, please be careful. Please, it could be so dangerous for you to take that route and not understand the dosages and not get your blood work done and things like that. So, honestly, that's the only thing I can say about that right now. So the other part of HRT, of course, is the cost, and how do you cover the costs for it? So again, with all the changes that are happening, there are definitely some insurance companies that are now covering the costs of HRT. How much will they cover? And whether or not they'll cover it, it's going to be up to your individual plan. So again, I'm not an insurance person since I am a counselor. However, I do have information I can give to my clients that is Colorado specific about who they can talk to get more help, to understand more about their health insurance coverage, whether or not it'll cover, and whether or not they should even file a claim, file a, what's it called, like a complaint, and go through that process if they are rejected for some reason for it. So that person that you find in your area should hopefully have information about that as well, so that you can find out if your insurance can cover it or not. And then if it doesn't, then at least for right now, until everything's streamlined, then it's going to be more of an out-of-pocket expense, and you can talk to whichever physician you go to and ask them their advice about, is there generic versions? Do you think my insurance will cover this? If not, which insurances do? Do you think I should switch insurances? Your physician probably would know more information about that. So you're trying to form a little team of people for yourself to help you get the information you need. But it's really important that the first person you go to really knows what they're talking about and is really up to date on the standards of care, and has really vetted out whichever physician or physicians they're going to send you to, so that you know that they're going to be a high quality person for you to work with. So there you have it. Again, that's a question that I've been asked by a lot of people, so I wanted to be sure I touched on it today. Just wanted to remind you that if you want to send me a question for me to look at, and again, I won't be able to answer every question individually, but for sure, if I see a pattern of questions, I definitely can answer something. And also, I read all of your questions, and that way I can keep it in mind. So when I create information, and it just helps me stay in touch and stay close to the pulse of how people are doing when it comes to struggling with these issues or just seeking out information and resources. So, I guess I should tell you what you can do. Go to darahoffmanfox.com/contact and you can fill out the contact form there. And look forward to talking to you again. Bye bye.